the light is a thief. Each day it steals more of the world, pulling its thin, pale blanket back towards the southern horizon, leaving the clan in a deepening twilight that bleeds into an impossibly long night. The cold is its accomplice, a physical presence that seeps through hide coverings and settles deep in the bone. This is not the familiar, cyclical winter they know. This is a slow, grinding siege. The great ice sheets, the dominant feature of this chapter of ancient Earth, breathe a relentless wind down from the north, and the world of these early humans shrinks to the mouth of their cave and the ring of sputtering firelight. The hunt is a grim gamble. The men return with shoulders slumped, their spears heavy with frozen mud instead of meat, the tracks of the great deer and the woolly horse, the lifeblood of their existence, are ghosts under the new snow. Even the river, once a giver of life, is now a serrated spine of black ice, a trap for the unwary. The very landscape, their provider, has become their enemy. Inside the limestone sanctuary, the air is thick with the smoke of damp wood and the unspoken fear that clings to them like frost. The children, usually a tumbling cascade of noise and motion, or quiet, they huddle near the fire pit, their large eyes reflecting the flames, watching the adults with an animal stillness. An elder, her face a web of deep-edged lines, watches not the fire, but the sky. She marks the sun's low, fleeting arc against a notch in the cave's overhang. Her memory, a library of seasons, holds no precedent for this. The sun has always returned, but the ancestral dread, a legacy of hominid history, whispers a new, terrifying question. What if this time it does not? This growing capacity for abstract thought, this cognitive fluidity, allows them to connect the dying light to a potential end, a possibility their ancestors may never have conceived. It is a tool for foresight, but also a crucible for despair. Survival here isn't just about finding food, it's about enduring a profound psychological assault. The tension finds its crack. A scuffle breaks out between two young hunters over a sliver of dried mammoth meat. A guttural explosion of frustration that silences the cave. It is not about hunger. It is about the darkness that is pressing in, both outside and within. The group's cohesion, their single greatest survival tool, is fraying like an old cord. One of the young men, defeated, retreats to the cave's entrance. He stands there, a silhouette against the swirling grey void, and simply stares into the wind-whipped snow. He is not looking for game. He is looking at nothing, his posture one of complete surrender. An older hunter walks to him, places a heavy hand on his shoulder, and without a word, pulls him back from the precipice of despair. The moment passes, but the chill it leaves behind has nothing to do with the wind. The greatest predator they face is not the cave lion that stalks the frozen plains, but the hopelessness that has begun to stalk their own minds. The elder, the one who watches the sun, rises. Her movement is slow, deliberate, each joint protesting the cold, but her purpose is unwavering. She is the living memory of this clan of Homo sapiens, a vessel of generations of survival skills etched not in stone, but in her mind. She sees the apathy dulling the eyes of the young hunters and the fear that makes the children silent. She understands that the belly's hunger is a shallow pain compared to the soul's starvation. She walks past the huddled figures, her feet scuffing the dirt floor, and stops at the heart of their world, the fire. It crackles and spits, a defiant, living thing against the crushing blackness. For a long moment, she simply stares into the flames, as if seeking an answer in their dance. Then, she reaches into a leather pouch at her waist and pulls out two objects. A smooth, palm-sized river stone and the fossilized vertebra of a long-dead bison. She kneels. The clan watches, their curiosity a fragile spark against the gloom. Without ceremony, she strikes the bone against the stone. Tut. The sound is sharp, alien in the muffling silence of the cave. It cuts through the sighing of the wind at the entrance. Clack, clack. She finds a rhythm. It is the rhythm of a heart. Slow, steady, insistent. Clack, 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 Clerk, it is a summons. One by one. Hands lift. The young man who had stared into the snow turns his gaze from the fire to her hands. The rhythm continues. A simple, powerful anchor in the formless dread. Then, she begins to hum. It is a low, guttural sound, more vibration than melody. The sound of the earth itself. The hum rises and falls with the rhythm of the stones. A wordless chant that speaks of things older than words. This is not a true love, flint or bone. It is the genesis of symbolic behavior. A weapon forged against an enemy the sharpest spear cannot touch. Her free hand begins to move. She gestures. Her shadow, thrown huge and distorted by the fire, dancing on the cave wall behind her. It becomes a beast. It rears. A great bison with horns of shadow. Her hands become the hunters, their spears flickering silhouettes. She reenacts the great hunt from a summer of memory, a time of sunlight and plenty. Her chant rises in pitch, mimicking the calls of the hunters, the bellow of the beast. She is not just telling a story. She is pulling a memory from the past and breathing it into the present. She is reminding them not of what they have lost, but of who they are. They are the clan that brought down the great bison. They are the fire-bringers. They are the survivors. This is the dawn of ritual. A deliberate act to reshape their reality. A pivotal moment in the sprawling epic of human evolution. The fire is no longer just for warmth. It has become a stage, a focal point for their collective consciousness, a single point of light in the vast, unwritten darkness of prehistory. The clacking of the stones ceases. The shadow bison fades into the uneven surface of the cave wall. A profound silence descends, a quiet deeper and more resonant than the one that came before. It is not the silence of fear, but of awe. In the firelight, the faces of the clan are transformed. The dull resignation is gone, replaced by a focused attention, an ember of shared memory glowing in their eyes. The young hunter who had been lost to the void now watches the elder with a dawning reverence. He sees not a frail old woman, but a force, a conduit to the strength of their human ancestors. She has not given them food, nor a new spear, nor better hides. She has given them a reason. She has reminded them that they are more than just flesh and hunger, that they are a single entity bound by the stories they carry. This moment, invisible to the future eyes of archaeology, is the most crucial form of primitive technology ever invented, the technology of hope. The longest night finally arrives, a crushing weight of absolute black. The wind howls a mournful dirge at the cave mouth, a sound that promises an end to all warmth. But inside, something has changed. The clan does not cower. Led by the elder, they gather around the fire again. She begins her rhythm, and this time, others join. A young woman picks up 2 pieces of firewood, tapping them together in time. A hunter adds his own low hum to the elder's chant. They are not merely observers now. They are participants. The story of the bison is told again, its shadows leaping and dancing, already becoming legend. They tell it not just to remember a successful hunt, but to invoke its power, to draw the strength of that past summer sun into the heart of their frozen winter. This is the mechanism of cultural transmission in its purest form, of behavior passed on not by genetic code, but by shared experience, an inheritance of the spirit. They endure the night together, feeding the fire. Their unified rhythm, a defiant heartbeat against a relentless goal. Dawn comes not as a victory, but as a reprieve, a bruised. Purple light seeps into the eastern sky, pushing back the blackness inch by painstaking inch. It is the weakest of suns, a distant, dying ember, but it has returned. The clan emerges from the cave, their breath plumbing in the frigid air. They are gaunt, they are cold, but they are whole. The elder stands at the entrance, marking the sun's new position. A slow, deep understanding dawns on the faces of the others. The ritual did not bring back the sun, but it gave them the collective fortitude to outlast its absence. They have survived the deepest tooth of the winter. They have faced the psychological abyss and have not fallen. These ancient humans, living their lives countless days before us, have just forged a new tool, one that will prove more vital to the story of human evolution than any sharpened flint. The belief that by standing together, they can keep the darkness at bay long enough for the light to return. The fire pit in the cave is now cold, its ashes scattered by winds 1,000 generations ago. The river stones the Elder held are lost, buried under Sultan time. But what happened here, on this longest of nights, did not vanish. It became a blueprint. This conscious act of creating a shared focus, of using rhythm and story to combat a terror that spears could not kill, is the bedrock of what we would become. It is the first hymn, the first prayer, the first epic poem, born not of leisure, but of necessity. Their discovery was not of a new land or a new prey, but of a new landscape within themselves, the vast, powerful territory of the collective spirit. We, their distant children, still gather around our own fires, whether of wood or of pixels, seeking the same solace. We tell stories to fend off the darkness of the unknown, to remind ourselves of who we are when we forget, and so we watch. You and I, fellow chroniclers of this immense journey, bearing witness to the moment our ancestors learned that the warmest fire is the one kindled in the heart of the community. Their greatest legacy is not the sharpened stone, but the shared story that proves we are never truly alone in the cold.